welcome back to another episode of Courts This Week, your go-to source for the latest legal updates presented by Livelaw. I'm your host, Ostika Das, and I'm here to take you through the most significant updates from this week. From the corridors of the Supreme Court to local judicial proceedings, I'll be providing you with clear and concise summaries that keep you informed and ahead of the curve. But remember, for a more in-depth understanding, do visit our website at www.livelaw.in. In today's episode, we cover Arvind Kejriwal's bail, the ongoing protests over the Kolkata doctor's alleged rape murder, Haldwani evictions, and much more. So let's dive into the headlines. This week, the Supreme Court granted bail to Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal in the CBI case related to the alleged Delhi liquor policy scam. The court delivered its judgment on the petitions filed by Kejriwal, challenging his arrest and seeking bail in the case. A bench comprising Justices Surya Kant and Ujjal Bhuiya gave a split verdict regarding the legality of the arrest. Justice Kant upheld the arrest, noting that the CBI had complied with the provisions under sections 41 and 41A of the Criminal Procedure Code and found no procedural irregularities. However, Justice Bhuiya disagreed, questioning the necessity of the arrest, particularly emphasizing that it raised more concerns than answers. Justice Bhuiya also criticized the CBI, stating that it should act as an uncaged parrot and avoid any perception of bias. Despite their differing opinions on the arrest, both judges agreed that bail should be granted given that the charge sheet had already been filed and the trial is unlikely to conclude soon. Kejriwal's continued detention, the court noted, would violate his right to personal liberty under Article 21 of the Constitution. Next, we turn to the ongoing doctors' strike in West Bengal over the death of a trainee doctor at RG Kar Hospital in Kolkata. The Supreme Court reviewed status reports this week from the West Bengal Police and the Central Bureau of Investigation, with the latter receiving 4 clips of crucial CCTV footage. However, serious discrepancies in the investigation were highlighted by the petitioners, with allegations spanning a delayed post-mortem, improper handling of the crime scene, and negligence in preserving forensic evidence. Senior advocate Kapil Sibal, representing West Bengal, was accordingly asked to produce documents related to the post-mortem in the next hearing. The senior counsel also told the Supreme Court that the ongoing doctors' strike continued to impact the healthcare system and patient care, causing the loss of 23 lives and leading to the denial of treatment to over 6 lakh patients in the state. In response, the court also expressed deep concern over the impact of the doctors' protest on healthcare in the state. Accordingly, the judges directed the doctors to resume work immediately and warned that adverse actions would follow if they did not comply by 5 p.m. the next day. The state government was also instructed to ensure hospital safety for doctors. This matter is scheduled for further hearing on 17 September. This week, the Supreme Court stayed the defamation case against Congress MP Shashi Tharoor over his controversial 2018 remark about Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Tharoor had cited an unnamed RSS leader's description of Modi as a scorpion sitting on a shivling during a public address. BJP leader Rajiv Babbar filed the defamation suit, arguing that Tharoor had hurt the religious sentiments of millions of Shiva devotees. In his defense, Tharoor's counsel explained that the statement was a metaphor quoted from a 2012 article in the Caravan magazine, which had also been aired in a video by a news channel. The counsel therefore questioned why the remark was non-defamatory in 2012, but suddenly became defamatory when Tharoor referenced it in 2018. A bench of Justices Rishikesh Roy and R. Mahadevan observed that metaphors such as the one used could indicate invincibility rather than offense, and asked why anyone would object to it. The court has issued a notice and stayed these proceedings for 4 weeks. In the ongoing Haldwani eviction case, the Supreme Court this week granted the Uttarakhand government 2 months to devise a rehabilitation scheme for residents facing eviction. The land claimed by the Indian Railways has been occupied by over 4,000 families, many of whom have lived there for decades. The Uttarakhand High Court's December 2022 order for mass eviction sparked protests, with residents claiming legal rights over the land. The Supreme Court had stayed the High Court's order in January 2023, emphasizing that residents must be rehabilitated before eviction. This week, a bench of Justices Surya Kant, Dipankar Datta and Ujjal Bhuiya heard an application by the Railways which argued for immediate access to a strip of land to protect railway operations after last year's monsoon washed away a retaining wall owing to the violent flow of the Gaula River. Senior advocate Colin Gonsalves, appearing for the residents, countered that the wall had since been rebuilt and there was no immediate risk of flooding. The court, however, adjourned the matter and allowed the state 2 months to submit a concrete rehabilitation proposal. In the meantime, interim relief for the residents will continue. This week, the Supreme Court dismissed a plea seeking to halt India's military exports to Israel in light of the Gaza conflict. The petition filed by a group of former bureaucrats, activists and academics argued that continued military exports violated Articles 14 and 21 of the Constitution as well as Article 51C, which obligates India to foster respect for international law. The petitioners contended that India's military support to Israel was indirectly contributing to acts of genocide, citing international rulings on the matter. Advocate Prashant Bhushan, representing the petitioners, argued that by exporting arms used in Gaza, India was violating the Genocide Convention, which it has ratified. The Supreme Court, however, declined to intervene, with Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud stating that foreign policy matters, including military exports, fall under the executive's domain and not the judiciary's. The court also remarked that while the UK government, for instance, had suspended its export to Israel, it was a policy decision made by the government and not a judicial one. The court concluded that addressing the petitioner's concerns would require making determinations about the actions of another sovereign nation, that is Israel, which falls outside Indian court's jurisdiction. In a pivotal ruling this week, the Supreme Court clarified that an accused already in custody for one case can still apply for anticipatory bail in connection with another case. A bench comprising Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, and Justices J.B. Pardiwala and Manoj Mishra addressed the legal question of whether anticipatory bail can be granted for an offence when the accused is in custody for a different offence. The court ruled that anticipatory bail remains an option as long as the accused is not arrested in relation to the new offence. Once arrested for the new crime, however, they can only seek regular bail under Section 437 of the CRPC. The judgment highlighted that even if someone in custody fears arrest for a new offence, the fresh case is treated independently. If granted anticipatory bail for the new offence, the investigating agency cannot seek remand for that crime. However, if remand is granted before securing anticipatory bail, the accused must apply for regular bail. This week, the Supreme Court stayed the National Green Tribunal's order, which had limited the number of members in Dhol Tasha Zanj troops to 30 during the Ganpati Visarjan procession in Pune. The NGT had also mandated real-time noise pollution monitoring and criminal proceedings against violators. The appeal against this order was urgently mentioned in the top court, given that the Visarjan is scheduled for 17 September. Advocate Amit Pai, representing the appellant, argued that the restriction on the number of troop members was not necessary, though they had no issue with the other noise pollution measures. He stressed the cultural importance of the Ganesh festival in Pune and requested the court to reconsider the specific restriction on the troop size. A bench led by Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud and Justices J.B. Pardiwala and Manoj Mishra heard the plea and stayed the NGT's direction, allowing more than 30 members in each troop for the upcoming procession. In a high-profile development this week, the Supreme Court dismissed the appeals filed by Trinamool Congress MP Abhishek Banerjee and his wife, Rujira Banerjee, challenging the Enforcement Directorate's summons related to the school job scam case. The couple had argued that as residents of Kolkata, the ED should not summon them to appear in New Delhi. They claimed that the provisions of the Criminal Procedure Code should apply, which would limit their summons to the location of the alleged offence, in this case, Kolkata. However, the ED argued that Section 50 of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, which governs summons, takes precedence over the CRPC. The Supreme Court bench, comprising Justices Bela Trivedi and Satish Chandra Sharma, upheld the ED's authority under PMLA and dismissed the Banerjee's appeals. This week, the Kerala High Court took a strong stance against the state government's inaction regarding the Justice Hema Committee report, which was submitted in 2019 and detailed large-scale sexual harassment in the Malayalam film industry. The court directed the state to provide the special investigating team with an unredacted version of the report for a thorough investigation. The report uncovered issues such as gender discrimination, workplace harassment, and wage disparities faced by women in the industry. A special bench of Justices A.K. Jayashankaran Nambiar and C.S. Sudha expressed frustration that the government had not initiated any investigation or action despite receiving a detailed report 4 years ago. The court emphasized that the state's duty to act on clear evidence of crimes is not negated even if victims choose not to prosecute. The bench also highlighted a gap in the Protection of Women from Sexual Harassment Act 2013, noting that it does not cover sexual harassment faced by women seeking employment. Accordingly, the court urged the state to draft legislation addressing this issue from a more feminist perspective. A special NIA court in Uttar Pradesh sentenced Maulana Umar Gautam, Kaleem Siddiqui and 10 others to life imprisonment in a mass religious conversion case. The court, presided over by Additional District and Sessions Judge Vivek Nand Sharan Tripathi, convicted a total of 16 individuals under the IPC and the Uttar Pradesh Prohibition of Unlawful Conversion of Religion Act. 4 others were sentenced to 10 years of rigorous imprisonment. The accused were found guilty of running a mass religious conversion racket funded by international organizations. The prosecution argued that Umar Gautam used psychological pressure for forced conversions with the goal of establishing an Islamic state and disrupting the country's demography. Siddiqui was arrested in 2021 by the Uttar Pradesh Anti-Terrorist Squad for his involvement in these activities. The case has drawn significant attention due to the scale of the alleged conversions and the allegations of involvement of foreign entities. The prosecution also charged the accused with promoting enmity between religious groups and threatening India's sovereignty. And that's a wrap for this week's Legal News Roundup. But before we bid adieu, the entire LiveLaw team has a small request for our dedicated viewers. As an independent and fact-driven media organization, we are deeply committed to fearless and ethical journalism. To continue bringing you the latest legal updates, especially in this dynamic audio-visual format, we rely on your support. So here's how you can help. Give our video a thumbs up if you found it informative. Share it with your family, friends, classmates and colleagues. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel for more insightful content. Drop your valuable thoughts and feedback in the comments below and hit that bell icon to stay updated with our latest releases. Don't forget to visit our website at www.livelaw.in for our in-depth reports and analysis. Not only this, but the LiveLaw channel offers memberships for only ₹89 per month. Become a part of LL supporters today to access exclusive perks such as loyalty badges next to your names, in comments and live chat, priority reply to comments, and for our student pass audience, early access to explainers and legal updates. I am your host Ostika Das, and it's been a pleasure bringing you this week's Legal News Roundup. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged and stay tuned to LiveLaw. Thank you for watching.